Hey, what's up YouTube? This game, Wolcen, Lords of Mayhem, it's basically took the last 70 hours of my life and I'll never get it back. But I don't regret a second of it. I've made quite the versatile build for melee and I just like to share it with you guys. I pushed it up to solo plus 16, probably could go higher, and in groups as high as plus 21. Look, I need more people like you to come to my channel, so please hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Even if it doesn't work sometimes, because YouTube's funny like that. But for the melee guide, let's get to it. So for the attributes, I'm going to take off all my gear and show you what my attributes are without my gear on, because that'll give you an accurate number here. I put 100 into agility, 50 into toughness, and 40 into ferocity. 100 into agility for that attack speed and dodge chance, which dodge chance helps you survive. The 50 into toughness, which with Retaliator node, which I'll show you later, gives you damage, and also this gives you health and all resist. 40 ferocity to make sure that you crit more often. So the dodge chance, if you're not dodging, you will be blocking. Here I'll show you just a minute. If we go to our passive skill tree, I'll show you from here. We go with the ferocity nodes, and then we go with the crit chance, and then with the crit chance we want more crit chance on that node, and then plus 20 attack or crit damage. So we go to the right to get the toughness as well as the health, just a little bit of health. We're not going to go with the 15% health node, but you can if you want. I played around with that. We got agility. This will give you more attack speed, more dodge chance. We want to go with more attack speed there with that node. Agility, dodge chance as well. And like I said, when we're not dodging, we are blocking. I'm going to go down here and show you. We gotta go with more toughness. We go with the all res here, and as you can see, we're gonna block with any weapon. Now, this build is versatile, which means it can actually wear a shield, and when you have a shield, you'll have 10% extra block chance. But it is, and I'll show you in a bit why it's not really optimal to wear a shield in most cases. So Retaliator node, this gives you damage for 3% damage for every 1% of physical resist. Now just keep in mind, physical resist is one type of resist, it's not all of the resistances. And you want to go with either plus 5 attack damage, or you can go with more toughness, or you can go with that 15% maximum health node that I showed you earlier. So we're going to go back here to the gear, and I'm going to show you with your gear you want to go for all res, you want to go for health, you want to go for stuff that gives you that kind of buff. You can see my chest piece gives me 12% all resistance. You want to go and you want to balance everything out. Definitely you want the O'Malley's belt. I'm telling you, this is the best belt in the freaking game right now. But if you want to balance it out in terms of all resistance flat numbers and all resistance percentages. As you can see, like my gloves there have percentage all resistance and as flat numbers all resistance. You want to balance it out so that way your percentages will scale those flat numbers. So this build is not dependent on these shoulders, but I do say that these shoulders are OP. They give you attack damage and they give you life for every little bit of fury that you spend. Now with the talisman, I can suggest that you just go with anything that has toughness or ferocity or anything like that. Basically just kind of pick what you want. If you want to go with an Omni Star for all attributes, go ahead and go with that. That's awesome. Saganaris, I think I said that right, either way, but that is good with this build. It gives you attack speed, and then you want to use one Seal of Arbiter on this build. You don't want to use two, even though it does make your damage numbers bigger. You actually put out more damage with only one. And then with your weapons, you want to have a really strong one-handed on the main hand with 3 sockets. You want to make sure that it has crit damage on the identifier. That's at least the minimum right there. And then with your offhand, you can have an optimal 3 sockets. You want crit damage as an identifier, but with the sockets, it is very crucial to make sure that you put like Aether damage or Sacred damage or Shadow damage. And as you can see, it's because the The damage modifiers, they will, once you put material damage percentage in there, it's going to scale your physical attack, but by not very much because your physical attack already has a lot of DR. Now you can see that I used my shout and increased my damage, and that's because the resistance from Retaliator. So, as well as the attack speed buff from the shout. Now if you're around a bunch of enemies, it's going to be even more, but I would suggest that you go some kind of alternate attack damage in your weapons to increase your overall damage. Now you can see, as I'm pointing out on here in this video, my resistances, and this is all just my stats. You can, you know, pause the video, go through it, check it out, see what you can find. Maybe if you want to mess with things and change things, that's fine. Oh yeah, my block efficiency. Here's something very crucial. I'm not having a shield and I have 75% block efficiency. I put the shield on and it lowers my block efficiency significantly. Now block efficiency is what you consider, you know, when you do block, how much of the damage are you blocking. So you can tell I'm blocking a lot less of the damage with a shield than I am with an offhand. I don't know if they're going to patch this later on, if they're going to change it, but 75% of the damage is pretty cool. And it says 10% block chance, but I'm telling you, it feels like a lot more. And that's why I have the dodge chance as well, because when I'm not dodging, I'm blocking. And when and if that fails, then I just go with my all resist, and I got to take the meat of the damage. For the skills, you want to go bleeding edge, and for the modifiers, you want to go increased area effect, and you want to go that the blade keeps spinning. This is very important. I've played around with these, and there is no other modifiers at this time that are better. If you do want to wear a shield with this build, it does work, and it does definitely help with your attributes, with your toughness, but I would suggest using Bulwark of Dawn. With the shield, it only works with certain shields, so just make sure to keep that in mind. There is no fourth skill right now that you can use with the shield. So with the two-handed, the dual wield, I would suggest going a dagger. You can use Mark of Impurity. You can play around with these modifiers. I do like using the first and fourth, but the third modifier is pretty freaking epic as well. So yeah, play around with that if you'd like. It all works just fine. Now I do have other skills in my tree here, but just use the ones I'm mentioning, because the other ones, I mean, you can play around if you play around with them as much as you want, but I have found that these give the most damage. So the Sovereign Shout, you definitely want to go with the one that gives you all resist, but you can play around with the one that gives you weakened, all depending on if you have sacred damage in your gear and you've already applied weakened, or you're playing with groups. You can go with the one for stun, or you can get more rage on hit. And you want to go the Tracker's Reach. This is very crucial because a lot of enemies will run away, or they'll be within a range and you are melee. So you want to go with this, you want to go with the stun, and you want to go with the range. You can also change the stun for pulling from all directions. I do not suggest going the modifier that replaces the enemy with you or something like that. So it's very best to just go with these modifiers and you know, have fun with it. Pull enemies to you and kick their ass. So the wings right here, this one is very important. This is your gap closer. You can do increased flight speed, or you can do increased rage generation, but you definitely want the stun on impact. So that's pretty important, because when you drop down, you don't want to get hit hard, because you drop down on a tormentor. It gives you a few seconds to throw out your blades. So, yep. Thanks for watching the guide, and I'm gonna just go through some gameplay and show you guys exactly what it looks like.
I guess in 4 or 5 years, the new generation's music will be, it'll have a synthesis of those two elements and some third thing that'll be entirely, maybe it'll be, it might rely heavily on electronics, tapes. I can kind of envision maybe the one person with a lot of machines, tapes, electronic setups, singing or speaking and using machines.